Thank you for joining me today. My name is Joe from Joe's Art. I'm going to do a tutorial today on my first painting of a dark fantasy theme, dragon doing fire. This is a sketch that I did on canvas for the first time. Usually I just try to do it off my head, but this time I did charcoal, and I already knew offhand that the charcoal is going to make the paint darker, so that's a hard process going forward. The colors that I'm going to be using are going to be orange, red, yellow, white, black, hue, sky blue, and I think I said black, and maybe some purples and green. Now what I usually try to do is I start on the outer edge of the canvas and work my way inward and figure out where the light source is, but this time I wanted to try to start at the light source and work my way out. It seems to be doing okay at this point. I'm coming to find out that it's harder to get the shading right because I don't have the colors where they need to be for the light source, because this is the first time me doing a dark painting like this, and it begins to be difficult. The flames are a little hard to do. You have to take an effect when you're drawing or you have something in your mind that the reality of the situation is that the flames are coming down against the night there, and they're rolling backwards off of the shield, and you have to try to figure all the light source out and which direction it goes. Now at this point I really don't like the way the colors are working out, so I stop and start working on other things. Now in the next clip you're going to see me actually speed painting, and the light source is now up over top of my head. As you can see, I'm trying to do the image of the dragon here. I'm putting in the water, and my thought process here is, well, I'm just going to do the sky and starting on the scales, and it works out okay to a degree, but still in my mind I'm not liking the way that the flames are at this point, so I just continue to do the little tiny circles with all the scales, and then I worked on the image in the water, which in the long run ended up painting over top of that anyway. It just wasn't dark enough for the picture to give off light, and so I just continued to just lay down the paint on the canvas. Now at this point I've got the shading of the shield where I need it. I've added a little bit more yellow into the fire. I'm tracing the night out and start shading it in, but I'm going to go darker on the night towards the end of the video here, tracing everything in black, start adding the yellow and more shading, and at this point I just want to get the paint on the canvas, and I feel like it's coming along very nicely. Start adding a little bit of white and on the flames here, and add a little bit more yellow. And then I don't like this part. I was trying to make it bright, but I didn't like the way it was turning out. Now we're going to jump to the next part of the video where I just got two images of the next stages, and you'll see the big difference in what I've done. Now you can see here that I've darkened and brightened the flames. I've got the flames working in the water, great, but I still don't like the image at the bottom. So I decided to move to the top, start working on the castle, and did the sky. And the next image you're going to see is going to be almost completed in the image at the very bottom, where I'm trying to do the dragon mirror image in the water. I redid that and turned it into water, putting a light source in it. Now you can see what I did down here in the bottom right hand corner, and I think it looks better. At least I feel it is. I've got lightning in the sky. I did the castle, made it dark, trying to give it a light source. Now I started on the highlights. I'm not finished with the night yet, but the next image that I bring up is going to be finished completely. So just bear with me. Here we go. Now I'm going to use an oil-based titanium white. You should never use oil base under acrylics, but it's okay to put oil base on top of acrylic. Now my game plan is to highlight this because it's going to be brighter than the acrylic, but I think I'm going to end up putting too much white in it, and I'll have to go back and hit it with black, touch it back up. If you haven't noticed already, I'm trying to speed this up over time lapse to get this painting done for y'all. And like I said earlier, these highlights, I am going to have to go back and darken everything up with black because it's pushing too much light out, as you can see right there. As an artist, you can screw things up by doing too much stuff. I should have left it the way it was before and moved on to the night, but I didn't. Now here I have decided to slow this down so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Not sure if you guys can zoom in, but I don't have the ability to zoom in. But I decided to go ahead and black in the whole entire night, leave a few white spots showing the depth of everything, and I'm going to go back with a different, like a light brown color, just to shade in the outer edges of the black that I'm darkening in, and the scarf and the tassel around the waist, as you'll see once I get this done. Now here I'm finishing up the night, the shading part, and then the shield is basically the black rubbed off until there's hardly any on the brush, and then just push it around and leave it like a gray color. That's what I chose. And right now I'm going down through here and I'm outlining it in black for the shadow, let it stand out. That's why I've slowed it down. I'm trying to keep the same shape that's up there at the top. Change the shadow just slightly at the top of the shield there. I'm trying to be really careful because I don't have the fine brush. I've got the highlight brush, and if you're not careful, you can really screw things up on it and have to go right back over top of it, which is really frustrating. But it is what it is. Now here I've decided to brown in the inside of where I've got the light source hitting the scales of the wings, and it helped it some, but I'm still going to have to go over the outline of the top side of the dragon because I got too much light source hitting it. Now down here I decided to go ahead and put a shadow inside of a shadow, because if you've ever noticed, when you're in behind a fire pit and you're standing there, you can have two different shadows. You've got one that's not so dark, and then you got the dark shadow where you're standing behind behind a table or whatever it is. And I think it turned out okay. I may have to go back with the water, since that's an acrylic, and put a big brush on it and pull the edges out into the brown of the dirt, make it look better. But I might just leave it, I don't know. And here I'm putting a sparkle light off the sword. I thought that would be cool. So you guys let me know, tell me what you think. I mean, this is just right off the top of my head. I think I like doing that, making it look better, I guess. I'm not sure if it looks better or not. Now here I backed off and started looking at that light, and decided to put 2 more opposite lines to make that light more defined and extend out the ones that were crossing the sword so that you can actually see it. Y'all tell me if it's too much. Can't really tell. I mean, I guess I'll have to end up putting that in the shadow too. I don't know. I decided to put white along the inside of the shield to give it depth, I guess you could say, for the lining. And I don't know, it sort of looks okay. What do you think? Leave me a comment below. Now I'm finally getting to work on the highlights for the night. It turns out really well. I mixed a little bit of yellow, a little bit of black, a little bit of white. More yellow than anything so that it wouldn't get completely black on me. And then as the paint was getting off the brush, I just smeared it in, keeping the shade inside the creases of his body. And then here is where I have decided to go over what I did earlier in this video and make it darker, because it was just way too light, more gray than anything around the top. And by darkening everything in, it pops the lightning out and pops out the top of the dragon as well. Now right here I'm feeling it's highlighting on the face from the flames in the front, and finishing up with smoke around the shield. Well, that's it, guys. The only thing we have to do now is sign it. I guess I'll dip it in white. I'll go over here in the blue area and sign my name.
Walk through fire to show
Put
you
a
my
little bit more
love.
paint on it.
I'd walk on glass to give you my heart. Climb the highest mountain for you to see.
Make sure you stay all the way to the end to see the final reveal.
I give my life just to see you smile. I lose my sight for all these trials. None of this really
Put a little symbol in there.
You don't love me. If you don't love me, I'll ride.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
Through a hurricane, break every bone just to see you again. I'll swim across the raging seas just to see your face and love you in harmony.